I can see why nobody wants to be a teacher. What's going on, America? I'm the right-winged angel, Oliver Mack, and in this video, we got to talk about this classroom brawl with chairs. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. It's DeSoto ISD is the school district, and we have a teacher who is fighting off his students, and one of the students throws a chair at his head, and he's bleeding. So we need to get right into this. I want you guys to check this out because this kind of points to a lot of the issues that we're having within our schools and why our kids aren't being taught anything, but it has nothing to do with the teacher. So check this out. All right, let's go. Hold on. Let me back that up. Ooh, got hit in the head.
How this nigga throwing chairs? What the hell?
No response. I want y'all to notice something about the class. Tell me if y'all notice it in the comments.
That shit not funny, boy.
Like it. He is bleeding. Man, he is bleeding. But did y'all notice something about the class? Let's show it again. Yeah, do y'all see it? Do y'all notice something? As I spin this around. There is not a pale face in sight. This is a black school. This is a classroom full of black children that are acting like this. They're acting unruly. They're acting uncivilized. What the hell is wrong with these kids? I'll tell you, it's not the school. It's definitely not the school. It's the damn parents. The parents are raising these kids to be like this. They have no home training, so they bring their lack of home training to these schools. If someone was in that classroom wanting to learn, they can't. They can't. And no matter how much money you provide to this school, you're still going to have this problem because these kids lack responsible parents. And I'm willing to bet that the majority of them come from these single parent households, these single mother run households where they grow up to be unruly. And it's unfortunate. It's sad. Now, I'm not knocking all single mothers. I know there's single mothers out there that do a great job with their kids and they raise their kids to be upstanding citizens. But when you look at the statistics, our children who are being raised in single parent households do worse in school. They do worse with their behavior. They do worse in a lot of aspects of their life because they lack a father. They lack that balance. So you get behavior like this, unfortunately. And we have to push more for making sure that our families are what they used to be. We had a lot more families that were together back in the day, even for black people. Back in the 20s and 30s, there were stats that said that the marriage rate for black people was higher than that of white people, even during the times of before the civil rights era, when black people were treated like second-class citizens, when they couldn't even drink out of the same water fountains, when they didn't have the same opportunities as white people. Yeah, back then, black people were married at a higher rate. So it's a problem. It's a problem. People want to talk about the failing education system. People want to talk about there's no money in these schools. They don't have books. They don't have this. They have books, but the kids aren't reading them. The schools have money, but if the kids act like this, then no one can learn. No one can learn in that class. You have kids throwing chairs at teachers. Now, I don't condone him throwing the chairs back. This seems like a very old man, but I guess he was just defending himself. We don't know what went on before this video started, but the class, they were acting like complete fools. And it's not because of something the teacher did. It's because of those kids. They lack home training. They lack respect for adults. They lack respect for authority. And a lot of times that comes from being raised in a single mother household in the black community. Unfortunately, there's no respect. There's no respect. And this is a man. They don't even respect men. So we got to get it together. We definitely got to get it together, or we're going to continue to see things like this. Things are going to get worse. If you send your kids to a public school, your kids might not learn anything because they got to deal with that. They got to deal with unruly classrooms. They got to deal with kids who have no respect for authority. They have to deal with kids who don't want to learn. And their parents are not going to make them learn. I should say their parent is not going to make them learn. She's too busy. Honestly, that's what happens a lot of times in these single mother households in the black community. She's too busy to see what her kids are doing because she has to work to pay the bills. That's why before you have kids, make sure you're married. Make sure you have everything set up for you and your children before you're married. Before you have them. So get married. Find a good man. Fall in love. Get married. Then have children. That way, you'll have a partner there with you to share the responsibility of raising a child. Because if that doesn't happen, then you don't know what your child is doing. You're just trying to pay the bills. You're just trying to keep the lights on. You're just trying to get the rent paid. So you don't know what's going on with your kid. And it breaks my heart to see this because I see it too often in the black community. When you talk about black kids reading at high school kids reading at a 5th grade reading level, that's because of stuff like what we just saw. Because the kids, they can't learn in this environment. Not because of the teachers, not because of lack of funding, not because of principals, not because of anything like that. It's because of the other kids. So we need to get it together. We need to get it together, and the only way that we can do that is to change the culture in the black community. We need to have young adults recognize that the best way and the only way that you should be bringing children into the world is in a marriage. Not in a committed relationship, not with a one-night stand, with a marriage, with a partnership that is legally binding. So that way, you stick it through. Having children is like one of the toughest things on a relationship. It's probably the toughest thing on a relationship. It really tests the stability of the relationship because kids give you another financial burden. Kids give you a stress level that is out of this world, especially with newborns. So when you're in a relationship and you're not married, that man can easily walk out, easily leave you behind, say, hey, I'm not dealing with this. And I don't love you enough. I don't like you enough to stay with you and help you out. But when you're married, you understand that there is a huge commitment there. Before you walk down that aisle, you understand the commitment of marriage. And you're going to be with that person. You vow to be with that person through sickness and in health till death do you part, for richer, for poorer. So you vow to be there through all of that, through the child being there, to the stresses of pregnancy, the stresses of labor, the stresses of having a newborn, the stresses of a kid going to school. all those stresses. You vow to be there through it all. You don't do that when you're in a relationship, when you're just boyfriend, girlfriend. You don't do that. So when you're married, you stick it out. And for the women, you will know that your man will be there for you because he has made a commitment through marriage to be there for you. And if he decides he wants to walk out, guess what? You're married. So you can take him for whatever he's owed, for whatever he has. Because you're married. It's a legal contract. It's legally binding. So it's hard for him to walk out on you. So when you get pregnant, it's because it's something he wanted. And it's something you wanted too. It's something you both wanted. And you know he'll be there for you. Not to say that there are some a-holes that get married and end up switching up on their wives and doing some horrible things. And then women also. But it's more binding. It's way more binding. It's way more of a commitment. And you don't have to worry about being by yourself and not paying attention to your kid. And then things happen like what we just saw in the video. I'm a strong advocate of getting married before you have kids, making sure you have a stable structure before you have kids, because a lot of the issues that happen that we see in the black community are from the way that kids are brought into this world. 70% to single mothers. That's outrageous. Well, I'm Oliver Mack, the right-winged angel. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please hit the like button, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Peace.